What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 710. Welcome to the breakdown. Yo, TikTok's still not working. Shout out to Landy for fucking that up. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, Landy. I appreciate it. Just because you don't have a TikTok verified account doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and take out mine. By the way, did the editor/designer not look at the fucking markets today? The template or the overlay is the bull market back. BTC at 80,000. Like, bro, $1 trillion got wiped off the markets. What the fuck? Well, welcome to 710. It is sponsored by, I'm used to looking at Midnight right there, but it's over there now. Midnight is the title sponsor. Shout out to Midnight. If you care about privacy, you'll look into midnight.network. Go to midnight.network and go learn more about the dopest, one of the dopest privacy networks in the game. That's right. We got Polymarket. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the DG brand and also the breakdown. Who else? Who else do we have? Cake Wallet. If you want to hold Bitcoin or Monero or Litecoin on a hot wallet, a secure wallet, cakewallet.com. Go check it out. And also check out CakePay as well. And Kwai Network is with us now. We had Dr. K on yesterday. It was a good conversation. If you guys missed it, you can tune in, or you can go ahead and replay it. 709. It's up there somewhere. It's on YouTube. It's on X. You can go ahead and check it out, man. It's a good conversation. We'll have that clipped up. Also, shout out to the People's Reserve. Shout out to CJ. Shout out to that team. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to every sponsor. Everybody's sponsoring this goddamn show. Also, let's keep going. I feel like I feel like NASCAR right now. Before we talk about the race, let me go ahead and talk about also. Shout out to the partner at Cash App. That's right, Cash App partner here. If you didn't see the commercial, by the way, I'm hearing that the downloads are crazy, man. As soon as that commercial came out, I'm hearing the stock went up and like, holy shit, the amount of fucking downloads are wild. Yo, this guy is like chasing me down in the comments. This guy is nonstop in my goddamn comments. I'm not gonna mention who. Because that'll be free press, and I don't give that shit out. Anyway, I went on Spaces last night. First time in 8 months, I went on Twitter Spaces or X Spaces. Spoke for like 30, 45 minutes about the state of crypto. I kind of like, it was like the State of the Union address for crypto. Tripping over bottles while you're in your chair as well. Oh my God. That's funny. Anyway. Motherfucker. Well, we will work on getting the TikTok account back. It's funny. I can go live on the phone. It's wild. I can go live on the phone, but I can't use Restream to go live. I don't know. I don't know why. I did submit in another message to TikTok, and I think it's the goddamn puppet. The puppet don't want to see me win, man. The puppet does not. He does not want to see me win. Does not want to see me win. Anyway, I'm sure we'll have Rob on here later today. Him and Landy will go at it. I'm sure they'll be talking about everything that happened in China. China. Yo, there was a report that Trump and the administration received gifts from China, and before they boarded the airplane, Air Force One, they took all the gifts and they threw them in the garbage. I don't know why I laughed, but I thought that was funny. We'll go around the world with the news. Yo, bro, stop. Yo, this guy, man, I'm about to ban him. Anyway, let's bring in Landy, who fucked up our TikTok connection here. Let's bring him in. Ask him about the markets. Landy, good morning to you. It's on the West Coast. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, David. It's good to see you today. I do sincerely apologize to you and the TikTok audience that has had to endure logging back into their X accounts. You know, I gotta say, it is my fault.
I got something in my eye, bro. No, did
Don't cry about it. Don't cry about it, David. It's gonna be okay.
No, I got a fucking eyelash in my eye, man. I can't see. Oh, I feel like fucking Bloodsport. Van Damme, bro. Oh my God.
And look, this is how men cover for when they're emotionally upset and they
no, I got a fucking eyelash in my eye, man.
Eyelash every time.
You know, like my eyelashes, man, they're like fucking needles, man. Oh my God, like fucking pure. Shout out to my mom, man. Thank you for passing this shit down to me.
Yep. Well, I gotta say, the markets, as expected,
dog shit. Sorry.
Post Z meeting. Correct. I mean, we were expecting them to pull back, right? Nice.
Not like $1 trillion.
Oh, come on. It's nothing. It's chump change, right?
You had
Yeah.
guys whose net worths that were there that made up, the majority of the Chinese economy there, like $15 trillion worth of individuals on Air Force One going to China for this meeting. I think that the market played it right? Run things up into the meeting, and start taking profits. So far, that is only what we're seeing, but it's something that I mentioned earlier this week, coming into this week. CPI, producer price index, they were starting to show signs of bleed through at the core level for inflation. And then today, in addition to that, we've got, not a massive miss or anything on initial claims or unemployment claims, but more, it was an overshoot. But more importantly, is import prices month over month are beginning to rise as a result of higher shipping costs because of higher oil prices. So, and depending on where those ships are coming from or how they're rerouted, just longer journeys as well. And I think that we're going to see this be sticky no matter what the oil prices are. It just takes time to work its way through the system. So if we see prices begin to fall aggressively, I've maintained this that above 90 to 95, I think that that we continue to see inflation bleed through, and it's going to take a fall to the kind of lower side structures, below the $85 level, down towards the mid to upper 70s, and then eventually back down towards those lower 70s to really start start the process of bringing things down, and that's going to take a little while. So I think that for the trade in traditional markets and the larger gap down and pull back there, not unexpected at all, coming off of new all-time highs. Now it's just about the trend. For Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's the same thing, right? We're looking at Bitcoin hitting that major level. I've said it over and over again, 82 and a half to 83K, being that big monthly close open. That was a higher low on a close open basis for the monthly, and it was the last higher low of the bull market. And retesting that is a bearish retest, and it's all about reclaiming it to see if we can test higher. And honestly, Bitcoin still has a shot. I know everybody's kind of crying in their Cheerios right now, but
Nobody's
um,
crying.
it's when looking at it, 78 to 80 is the area that you want to see the bulls hold up in for Bitcoin. And I don't know if you want to share the chart here, if I'm even able to do that now that I'm back home.
As long as it's not your fucking porn that you're gonna put on here.
No, no, no. That's for the back channels only. Um, Bitcoin is coming off of a major overhead resistance. The line that was just hit here is the expected area that I was looking for after getting into this big weekly zone, which is a retest of the low side structure over here at 78 to 80, which is also a larger retest of some weekly close opens over here. But more importantly, the area that was just run and then retested coming into the end of the Sunday session um, is 82 and a half to 83K. That's a big monthly zone. So what do the bulls want to see? Consolidation is what they'd like to see in and around the 78 to 80 area here. But if things do, start to head towards the downside below 78, specifically on closes below around 78.4, I would start to look for the zone in between to the next major area, which is between 78 and 76 here. And then if we do start heading in to test this area, there's a larger daily area down here at 74 to 76. 74 also is right around where the low side structure came in over here. We have a higher, in the longer term trend, we actually have a lower low in here at 75K. But we've seen this before. We had a nice higher low trend break and then work its way back up. We have a nice higher low, came in over a weekend, just like the prior one over here before a trend break. And now we have a trend break, and we just await resolution to test further down towards that 74 to 76 area. And that's what you really need to pay attention to. If we start to see 78 lost and Bitcoin is heading down towards 74 to 76, you want to pay attention to if the bottom side of that zone holds up on closes. Because if it is lost, we'll get expansion down into retest this tighter consolidation right off of the low side structure here between 70 and 72. That I've said so many times now that people are actually messaging me telling me to shut up, but that's where the rubber hits the road. Because if we see the bears reclaim that area and demand doesn't come in to pick it up and start to try to work it back to the upside, back towards these highs, that's where it get more interesting to see, because a bearish reclaim opens up the entire low side structure. Granted, it could come down and swing into 68 to 69K, and he kind of closes below there at 70,000 is where I'd start to look at this whole structure being viable and potentially lower to run the lows 58 to 60 in the mid 50s and beyond. But all of that being said, Bitcoin's just consolidating inside of a zone of support and resistance that it has flipped on the daily in this weekly zone. We came up to it, we rejected it, we went down for some liquidity, we came back up, and now we're sitting in it. So it's all about, do we hold it or do we fold it, right? And if we do start losing that 76, we have the opportunity to try and hold the next zone 74 to 76, but anywhere below there, it's expansion right back into retest the breakout of this area over here. And look, if we do start to break back towards the highs, 70, and stick in especially the 78 to 80 area on daily closes, above 82.5 to 83, we could go 85 to 86 up here towards the next weekly, and potentially even up to the top side there, 89 to 90, no problem. There's nothing saying that we can't do that as of right now. So it's not, turn off the lights, sell them and go away just yet. It is, though, profit-taking areas for traditional markets, risk off rotation there, and we're seeing that bleed over into Bitcoin and crypto. I will say, you want to see, for those that are playing this and potentially looking for maybe a squeeze a little bit higher, you do want to see closes above that 82.5 to 83 before a much wider correction in traditional markets, because you'd rather see that area, that monthly, reclaimed by the bulls and then retested from a little bit further away in terms of structure, if we do see a wider correction in traditional markets, which, we just put in new all-time highs, for NASDAQ and SPY. Granted, Dow has been a struggle near its highs, but one day at a time. We're going into a weekend, lower liquidity period of time for Bitcoin, especially. So I would pay attention to where the weekly close starts to come in.
What do you see happening? What do you see happening during this weekend? I know there's always low liquidity during the weekends, but what do you see? What do you think happens during this weekend?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of FOMO longs just got wiped out on this move back down today after yesterday's exuberance back towards the high side structure here. I no one can really say with any. I can't say or speak in definitive language when it comes to weekends, because they are lower liquidity. If we were to, what I would say is, if we start to see an unwind or a liquidation event, then you really do have to pay attention to that 74 to 76, maybe even beyond, depending on how bad things got for, the open interest side of things. Not really that enamored with it on weekends. It's more just about watching the weekly closes, because when looking at this at the weekly, we've got such a nice retest of areas of support and resistance, and a nice reclaim of the low here on a closing basis for 78 to 80. So close to close on this structure over here, that if we start to fall out of this area, testing down towards that swing, which is right into a daily area between 74 and 76, is the play. initially, and then it's awaiting further potential downside to the next bigger area. But if we start to see it pushing back towards the highs, great, enjoy it. I would say that this has been all mean reversion for Bitcoin. This is all a bearish retest. I know that there's the it'll never go below X number crew out there in Bitcoin land, and just understand that they've been wrong 99.9999999% of the time. So maybe don't listen to them when they're trying to get you to FOMO in at highs, and bide your time. This is still a bearish setup, but that doesn't mean that it can't turn into a further bullish setup even on weekly pullbacks. The big thing to pay attention to on any kind of weekly pullbacks is no matter where this pulls back from, is this last higher low in the weekly at $65,000, which of course we can just go on spot and we can go right over to this, first all-time high that I can't seem to. There we go. The first all-time high that was put in 2021. Perfect bounce right off of that. Nice higher low, trend break. And so this was a trend reversal setup on the close that came in towards the beginning of April, indicating that we were likely going to test further up and then start testing over here in these structures. And there still is the opportunity to test these closes up here. There's a close open right here at $86,000 that Bitcoin was sitting above. That's still in the cards, but it's a bearish retest. There's nothing here saying like, oh, this is the run, man. Like, no. Even if it was, you're going to get higher low structure if that's the case, or at minimum equal low structure, and then you can position off that. There's no reason to FOMO. Watch it play out. It's going to take a little while, even if this was to be the macro low, as many have posited as a thesis. If this is to be the macro low, that also doesn't mean that it doesn't get retested and it doesn't get swung. In fact, that's what you'd want to see. Is you would want to see this get tested down towards the lows again to solidify it as a macro low. And no matter what, trend doesn't go straight. Trend is a trend for a reason. It doesn't go straight up. That'd be a parabola. And there's plenty of time to get positioned.
Can you use a different word, please? You lost half of my audience.
Oh, well, that's okay, because they've seen plenty of the broccoli head cruise posts online talking about parabolas and
I feel like I made a big statement with that yesterday on Spaces. My first space in 8 to 9 months. I come on and I call out all the broccoli head motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's weird because you also see some of the not yourself, but you see some of the suit crowd. You set this trend with the suits, and now you get the broccoli heads in suits, and that's really
hold
weird.
on. Can we talk about this for a second? Can we
go.
really? And then we'll go right back into the charts. Like, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I'm sponsored by everybody. Okay, so like I'm not going through it. Like the sponsors are right there. Okay, I can't do it, Andy. I felt winded.
Yeah.
I hardly made it to Kwai. I mean, I fucking holy shit.
Well, Cash App was just bringing up the rear there, and they were like, "Yeah, you were like the commercial. There's commercial. It's doing great."
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute, hold on.
Shout out to Cash App, of course. Shout out to Cash App. I've done so much with Block in general with Jack's company. Like, shout out to them. Good people. You got Maria over there. You got a lot of really good people.
And I gotta say, shout out and welcome to the guys from Kwai. It's good to see them. I enjoyed your talk with Dr. K yesterday.
Smart and very smart individual. I'm not just saying that because they sponsored the show. I spoke to him. I've spoken to him once before. I mean, like what, 4 or 5 months ago, and a very intelligent individual. So it's just, look, it's nice to bring on people that know what the fuck they're talking about. And now you don't have to agree with what they have to fucking say, but it's just nice. Again, to bring on people that can articulate themselves and know about the industry and know about their product, right? When you bring on somebody, they have no clue how to explain their product. It's just like you're sitting here like, what the fuck? I've had that before. I remember, like, I am definitely not going to name the fucking the crypto project, but they came on here, big time crypto project too. And the fucking founder came on here, bro. Like, Landy, I was falling asleep, and so was my audience, and they were like praying for me to call this motherfucker out, and I didn't, because I wanted to be professional. If it was me now versus somebody coming on the show like that, I would have destroyed him. But back then, I was just, I want to be nice, and not. Jesus Christ, what a Anyway, I want to talk about the suits, right? I've been look, I set the trends on suits. Let's nobody can come on here within crypto and say that they will rock in suits, okay? Right? I've been doing this forever with the suits. Forever. And it's not because I want to come on here and like impress you. No, I love suits. I'm trying to impress myself. I see you motherfuckers rocking suits. Number one, iron yourself, okay? Can you do me a favor? Can you take out an iron and just fucking iron the suit, steam that motherfucker, get it hemmed? Like, come on, tailor it up. You look like the one I've seen one. It looks like you're sleeping in it. Definitely American suit. Oh my god, American suits are trash. We got to do a show on men's health and men's health and how men dress. Like I'm going to do a show like that. American suits are horrible. Terrible choice. Terrible. Get a European suit. Trust me. Get a European suit and get it tailored. So you have I saw somebody who looked like they were sleeping in it, and the other one, goddamn, couldn't breathe, bro. Who'd you borrow? You borrowed what? Your little brother's fucking suit, man?
A little too tight.
What the fuck are we doing?
A little too. I've seen some tight suits lately.
I think I'm being disrespectful, but good. Look, I think if you tune into the show and you see me wearing a suit, it's like, man, he belongs in a suit. Because when I'm dressed down and I'm drippy and shit, you guys are like, where's the suit, right? That's the immediate reaction in my DMs and in the comments is, where's the suit? When these motherfuckers put on a suit, they're like, where's your clothes?
Look,
Hey, I'm just saying, it's the truth.
I knew, when I started coming on here that I had to class the joint up as well. That's why I've been in a tuxedo. I mean, I have forgotten to put on pants on a pretty consistent basis, but I got to keep a little bit of the DGen culture alive.
Let your balls hang out, man.
Yeah, okay. I got to keep the DGen culture alive, right? Like, we can be classy, while still being horrible degenerates, right? So,
yes.
I mean, but then there is the entire crypto crew that they're really hurting bad. They're at events stealing jackets. They're taking money off the stage. They're taking money off the stage
that is so you're down. You're shit coining when you're taking strippers' money.
Yeah, and stealing jackets.
What is that? What is that? That is terrible. What a terrible thing. Yeah. What a terrible thing.
Did you see the jacket stealing stuff?
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
Watching the video, and like these guys are just going through. One guy just goes and he does it quickly, and then the other guy tries to mingle, and then he goes through and grabs a jacket and takes off. Like, yo, if that is not the absolute sign that we are not, despite what many of your favorite broccoli head posts are saying, we are not in the bull market yet. Okay.
No, I think that's bottom.
Well, no, that's not bottom yet. No. It hasn't gotten bottom.
We hit the bottom.
No, it's gotta get so much worse, man.
No, that is worse. Like, you can't get worse than that. When you're stealing, bro, what are you talking about? See, this is where you can do your TA and I'm gonna do the PA part, okay? When you are stealing
fundamental analysis
money, yeah, absolutely. We're gonna do FA and PA here. I'll do that, and you'll stick to TA, because when you're stealing strippers, when you're stealing tips from strippers, okay, you're down bad. This is the bottom. Okay, this is bottom behavior. Okay, on-chain welfare behavior. When you're going to the strip club to steal money, I've never even heard of that. I have never heard of that. To go to a strip club to steal the stripper's money. Holy shit! Like I am blown away.
And some people already found that guy, by the way. That's
Dude,
wild. That is bad.
I hope he's not Jewish. I really hope he's not Jewish. You know what they're gonna do, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
hope he's not
no.
Jewish.
I mean, yo, we're not on TikTok. Look, the only way we would have known if he was Jewish is if they were coins. It's a joke. Yo, I'm gonna get crucified for that one. Don't. Wait, that's even worse, actually.
I wonder if the guy that saw me in Prospect Park is watching the show right now.
I'm joking with you, my Jewish friends. But yeah, no.
Yeah, why can't anybody take a joke anymore, man? It's terrible. The fucking environment that we live in, the fucking society we live in. We can't even joke.
Well, no, here's what I actually do like. I think that comedy is coming back because a lot of the most popular stand-up routines that are going on, like TikTok and YouTube that have been making the rounds for the past, year, 2 years, comedians aren't holding back anymore. And I enjoy that. I think that's good. We need to be able to make fun of each other. Doesn't mean that we hate each other. And if you
like,
aren't making fun, like growing up, if you weren't making fun of your friends, you weren't really friends, to be honest.
You know what? Growing up in New York, I'm so happy that like my parents chose to, set up camp and shop here in New York City. I'm glad that I grew up in New York City. I'm thankful I'm out of there, but I'm glad that I grew up in New York City. Like we would crack jokes on each other, but it wasn't racist or any shit like that. Like we would just crack shit. Like, when you go like, I have Italian friends, Irish friends. Like I have it's sort of fucking friend, and you go into these households and like the culture is different. So it's like some of the shit is funny. My friend one of my best friends is Haitian. Like he got like this is the first time I learned about there's a different language that they speak.
Yeah.
Derived from French. So I come over. I don't know what my friend said, but his mother slapped the shit out of him, bro. I've never seen that type of fucking beating in my life. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I thought I was gonna get hit
by proxy. Yeah.
Fuck. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
I had a Puerto Rican friend and
what is it? Creole. That's
Creole.
She was screaming at him and like. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. I'm thinking in my head, what the fuck?
I had my first experience, it was a cultural exchange was
oh, you're white as hell, bro.
Well, yeah, but that's not the point. I went over to my Puerto Rican friend's house and we got into trouble, right? And I got whacked with a flip-flop for the first time in my life.
You got whacked with a flip-flop? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a flip-flop throw. He got the flip-flop thrown at him. And then it was picked up and I'm like, I'm in the clear. I'm not her child. And then I got whacked upside the head with that thing. And I remember I was younger. I remember she called my dad.
Almost choked. Hold on. No Diddy, bro. No Diddy.
Yo. She called my dad. And told my dad what kind of shenanigans we were getting up to, and how she handled it. And my dad came over after, and he picked me up and he's like, you know what? She should have grabbed a belt after that and got you. And I was like, it was a cultural experience. I grew up with the belt. My good friend grew up with the chancla. So
wires, hangers.
Oh man, look, discipline.
Can I say though, my parents never beat my ass.
No, I never actually got my ass.
I was a really no matter what you guys think, I was a really I was raised like a fucking
malicious.
soldier, bro. Like, so like I already knew, like, my parents didn't really have to do anything. My dad would look at me and I'd like shit my pants, bro.
It
I'm
was
being dead
discipline.
serious.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was just discipline. It
but it's
wasn't
also
like
it's
malicious.
you will also you had the fear in God, like it was fear but respect. There's like more so
Yes.
respect than fear.
Yes.
So, but again, like growing up in New York City, like still like the parents take care of you. Like all like I remember like going to my friends' houses and like their parents would take care of me, right? It's just like it's one of these things. So I don't know.
Well, now,
That
see,
is homeless
parents
behavior though, what we saw. What we
well,
saw was
parents
homeless
don't,
behavior.
and this isn't emblematic of the kind of state of society right now. You know, a lot of parents don't actually demand respect, and they don't reprimand their kids, and then you get broccoli heads everywhere, and
I can't stand
they
the
do whatever
broccoli
they
heads.
want. They steal off
I can't
stripper stages. They steal jackets at events,
fucking
at
broccoli
networking
heads
events, no
ruined
less.
everything.
Where you're there to network and do business, and here you are, just yeah, no, I'm just gonna steal some expensive jackets. Man, like that. I don't know. I know y'all are out there. You probably on the timeline like, "Oh, they got us on
No,
camera. Let's
I
lay
went on
low."
Spaces yesterday to talk about the broccoli heads. Well, I went on Spaces to talk about, you know, I like what I see where like there are some old heads that are trying to, you know, bring everybody together, and I like that. I like that, and there are a few people that are like resisting it, and they're like, oh, but he's gonna have clout if this thing actually goes to $1 billion. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? The mentality in crypto is so stupid. Let me break this down quickly. I don't give a fuck who sends what. If I go into something and there's some person being the front man and they're yelling and screaming and they're bull posting like crazy and they're sending this shit to $1 billion and I got in at 5 million, I don't give a fuck who gets the credit. You have people that are legit sitting here, they're like, I'm not gonna participate because he's getting too much credit. Like, are you a fucking, I was about to say the R word. Are you fucking stupid? Like, you have some dumb motherfuckers that came here just to clout chase. And they don't even make money from it. That the whole thing is, okay, fine. You don't want to make money in crypto, even though you came here to crypto to change your life. Fine. You want to clout chase? You want the likes and retweets? But are you making money? Are you at least making money from this shit? No, you're not. You're just going home. You're like, mommy, look, I got fucking 34 likes. Look at me. I'm high stepping this shit right now. And they high step it into the house like the Deion Sanders, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Well,
It's
look,
wild. It is absolutely welfare behavior on chain. Like, it is crazy business, man. And then people are like, yo, Dave, why don't you do Spaces? Because I don't want to be next to any of you guys.
it's just
I
like,
really don't. I feel like I could catch AIDS or something. Like, I don't know.
well, you remember the metrics that came out for like Pump Fund and the percentage of people that actually made profit versus loss and that kind of stuff. It's the same when it comes to clout chasing. There's a very small percentage that are doing it right and are going to become insanely rich because of it, because they figure out how to monetize that clout chasing. But the majority don't. But they still try it anyway. Um, Look, it's all all of it just transitions to different things, right? It's an evolution. It's a constant evolutionary process, and you know the vestigial
Landy, can you please try
remnants.
to Landy, when you speak,
Yes.
please
Oh,
keep
sorry.
the thank you.
Okay. The
The words are way too
the
yes, thank you.
unneeded portions um that are no longer relevant will begin to be culled during this evolution.
Yeah. We got to stop with the, you know, look, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and you're not gonna have broccoli heads in Bitcoin, okay? So there's, you know, Let's
I
separate
mean,
Bitcoin away from. No, we don't have broccoli heads. Don't
no,
even.
Zach actually, Zach XBT exposed a broccoli head crew that was stealing
Oh,
Bitcoin. So I mean, they do
yo,
steal it.
that kid was ridiculous, bro.
Yeah,
The one with the
uh,
money. You're talking
yeah,
about
the
the
band
one.
for band, and he got
Oh,
caught.
and he kept on
Well,
saying like the whitest dude in the world is saying like just throwing n bombs around like
yeah,
crazy.
everywhere. Yeah, yeah.
Like
Uh,
there was not he couldn't like he didn't go a word without saying it. It was just like I couldn't even finish watching the video. It was so annoying, bro.
yeah, the constant watch flex, the N word constantly.
Yo, you ain't seeing this? You don't see this right now? You
So
don't see
like,
it? No, I don't see it.
how
It's on
many
video.
Instagram followers? He's flexing to like, I guess just his local, scam cabal group or something. Like, all right, like have fun, kid.
What do you do anyway? What was
He,
the
I think the scam. I think they were somehow scamming, and phishing, treasure
oh,
wallets or something. I think it might have had something to do with that. Somebody in the crowd can maybe correct me on that. I think it had something to do with phishing and scamming treasure
okay.
accounts or wallets. Um, and they got something like, I don't know, a very large number, in the hundreds of millions, that they managed to
Wow.
pull, which is wild. For what is it, like 16? Like, see, this is the kind of environment we're in. Is um the actual scammers and all of they can't hold back. They gotta flex. It's like that mentality of they can't even stay underground when they do something big, so they're gonna get caught no matter what at the end of the day. And this is just the evolutionary period of the broccoli heads weeding themselves out of society, right?
Yeah, I had so many DMs about that shit yesterday. People were like, "Yo, I busted a, uh, yo, yo, no Diddy, bro,
Pause.
no Diddy, no Diddy." They said they were just dying laughing, man. I didn't realize what the fuck I was saying yesterday until people came into my DMs and were giving me quotes of shit that I was throwing out there.
I thought it was pretty funny, yeah.
I had fun yesterday. I ain't gonna front. I had fun, but I can never do that again. I was winded like BitBoy.
Just don't. Just try to avoid the rest of that path if you can.
I'm already on, and Landy's like, "No, don't do this."
I said, what did I say? It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I just had fun. I felt like it was a walkie-talkie yesterday. It's just like, and I was just talking into the universe. I was having fun.
I still, and then of course I had to give you shit about the fact that you're a Spaces and Clubhouse OG, but you still got by the 10-second delay
Yo,
every time.
I didn't know that. I forgot about the 10-second delay. I was just until you said it, I was like, holy shit, I'm on 10-second delay. I forgot. I forgot. Totally. But that's a good thing, right? I think
I
is
guess.
it a good no? You know what it is? I would have thought that Elon and the crew would have upgraded Spaces, man, off the fucking telephone technology that they still have it on. That's crazy. That is crazy.
What I will say, honestly, I think TikTok does Spaces better because you get live video, you can share video, you can get a stage, you can curate the stage, and you have the audience chatting live, so you can actually get
Imagine
feedback
like
directly
if you
from the
can
audience.
actually live stream, multi-live stream to
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah. Well, you can get a stage too, and you can bring people up, you can
Yeah,
curate
but
the
yeah,
stage.
imagine if I could actually live stream to
Uh,
TikTok today.
I mean, you can from your phone. I don't know why you're not just holding your hey, you got that gimbal. You should be using it. I mean, you went to
Fuck
TikTok
that
shop.
gimbal. That gimbal is trash. I've done everything possible to fucking make this shit work. This shit is absolute grade A trash. Okay? And
Somebody mentions
watch somebody fucking just take this gimbal and they'll fucking make it work. They're like,
it
oh, it's
works
just
right
click this
away.
button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How'd you miss this giant button that says turn on? Um, but somebody mentioned in the chat, I just saw it scroll by here, is because you didn't let anybody up. Yeah, I think that that's the key. Is if you're gonna run a space for you in particular, just don't let anybody up.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, I was sitting there hitting
I had no
request
int
on request,
I'm
request on
telling you right
request.
now, I had no intention of bringing anybody up. I don't give a fuck if President Donald J. Trump came up. I wouldn't have let him up yesterday.
Well, I mean, that
Because
would have
then he
been
would have took the
huge.
whole top just like you, he would have just ranted for 45 minutes. I would have not have let that happen.
No,
It
the
was
only
my
thing
time,
I
my
was gonna
moment
come
to
up and
shine.
say is on the next big rundown in Bitcoin, you better get some before it's too late. That's all.
I wrote a post yesterday that was controversial. Apparently, I said that everybody in the
I
last
saw that.
24 months, you had the ability to get 0.5 Bitcoin, and it was a controversial post apparently because I've seen the fuckery that you guys were going into. So if you take that money and you were to put it into Bitcoin, you would have had at least anywhere from 0.2 to 0.5 Bitcoin. But apparently that was controversial. It was a very controversial take, and I had DMs saying, "How dare you? Some of us are poor. Then why are you here?
Well, you said
If
the
you are
last
poor and you
24
have no
months.
money, you should be working. You should be at IHOP. You should be asking decaf or regular. You should not be here gambling away on pump fund launches. Okay, that is your fault. You could have been working at McDonald's or Five Guys or fucking I don't know In and Out, and you can from that location every single Friday, which is today, when you get that paycheck, you could take that paycheck and take a little bit of it and buy a fraction of Bitcoin. So you could do that instead of being here looking for drama or talking drama, okay, and not making a cent to your name or chasing fucking launches over pump.fun and absolutely getting destroyed. Like you imagine, I watched this and let me tell you, I participated in it. I seen something called I'm going to rug you. It was a token that launched, right? So for the fuck of it, I threw in like fucking, I don't know, I think it was like a half a Solana, bro. Guess what happened?
Oh, I I don't know. I'm on
You want to
pins and
guess?
needles. I'm on pins and needles. What could have possibly happened, David?
I got rugged and so did everybody else,
Oh
okay?
my God, you have
The
to be
dev meant
kidding
it.
me.
The dev meant it, okay? I thought,
That's
okay, this could be funny if it actually
I don't
goes.
know
The
if I can handle
1%
this.
chance that it could go.
I'm
As
just
soon
hearing
as
this
that
now
shit
for the
bonded,
first time.
as soon as the fucking token bonded, the dude bonded his balls onto everybody's forehead. Okay, like that's what he did.
Wow, I'm shocked. I am.
And then you're surprised. Like I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like this is okay. Now, an intelligent person would not put any money into it, but I'm just saying in general, I wasn't shocked. He was being honest here. He was being honest. I'm gonna rug you. And he did. He fucking did. Welcome to the breakdown, episode 710. Sponsored by everybody.
Well, look, I'll wrap this chart up here real quick
Yeah,
because
go
it's been
ahead.
sitting there ominously. Um,
Again, big words confusing the crowd. Go for it.
I know it's they'll catch on eventually. The way in which we have gotten the impulse down.
Pause, timeout. I'd like to call a
Yeah.
timeout real quick.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys from SPX. I'm in SPX. I believe in something. Trust me. I believe. Send it. Okay? Send it. Send the motherfucker. I believe. I believe. Shout out to Finance Friedman. Shout out to him. He has a good show too. I see it on the timeline. That's what happens when you're friends with people and you follow them. See it on the timeline. Does good cuts. Listen. I'm in SPX. You guys got to stop. They are brutal. They attack me. They're like, you guys have amnesia. Like I put out a tweet or a post, whatever, and I've already stated that I've gone in a long time ago too. I'm there already. Anyway, sorry, Landy. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's all good. Look, the setup for Bitcoin right now, and really it's the same type of setup for most of the majors for alts, is not yet a bullish setup or a bullish turn. It's a nice pump off of a higher low. one of the things that, I've been talking about at the big monthly that I discussed with you, I've shown on the chart just earlier in the show at 82.5 to 83K, is that if we get a further move up, it's still right into overhead resistance for a retest on the weekly at around the 85 to 86K level. And it could potentially, if it broke above there, could potentially make a run for one of the key areas, and that's of the longer term downtrend at $98,000. That's something that's still on the table as it stands right now. But that also doesn't mean that it wouldn't pull back aggressively or get front run, even if it did that. So now it's all about the current trending structure with the higher low and the higher high in place. Is when this corrects, whether it be right here, right now, off of that 82.5 to $83,000 call that I've been talking about, where does it settle out at? And what you would want to see is a compression or consolidation, because this is a big volatile move down. You want to see this kind of working its way sideways, get into a compressive structure. Otherwise, this is, potentially, a move back to lower. And one of the things that I wanted to point out here is off of this 60K low, I was talking about 58 to 60 for a long time on the break below the top side of this structure, right? And Bitcoin hit 60K. The thing to pay attention to wherever this corrects from is if it comes back down, if it starts to break below 65K again from the longer term timeframes. There's a lot of areas of interest on the daily before then, but if it starts to break down from a weekly, you can see now that the volatility metrics for me are right at the 58 to 60K level. And when we were coming off of this longer drawdown, that retested the ETF highs at 49K. By the way, the ETF high is over here. This was the run up to the spot ETF launches. And then it sold off to a big monthly level at 38.5. But we got a retest of that. That was a nice, bigger, longer term time frame, higher low. And as it was shifting structure here, we had a lower low, higher low swing. We got a bit of a trend break, and then we got a higher low at right around $58,000. So 58 to 60 is what you need to pay attention to, because if anything were to break down below there, that ropes in the bottom side of that structure, mid 50s down to low 50s, potentially upper 40s, and maybe even more in the cards. So the bulls don't necessarily want to see that if 60K is going to be the macro low. What you'd want to see is a correction that kind of corrects back to the low, maybe sweeps it, but starts to go sideways into an accumulation structure, and then see that reaccumulate to break out back higher, start breaking the longer term structure at 98K. We're not there yet in terms of being able to call that. It's just that one of the big things is coming off of a major resistance at the monthly level is to watch the risk environment. And if we see a larger sell-off off of the all-time highs in NASDAQ and SPY, and we see a rotation and strength in Dixie, and we see a sell-off in bond markets, one of the big things that we have to look for is that risk off, bleeding over, or already taking effect in Bitcoin and the wider crypto space. As I've said many times, doesn't matter what Larry Fink and all of these big asset owner managers say when they get on television about Bitcoin as a store of value and cryptocurrency of the future and tokenize everything. The market still treats the entire sector as risk on. And it has not been moving with tech in the same way that it used to in the past. Now that we have a lot of these large institutional players in the game. So it's all about knowing the conditions for higher and lower, and even going higher towards 86, 89, 90, 85, 86, 89, 90, which are big weekly levels. Understand that that's still all bearish territory, unless we were going to see on this move a nice clean break of 98 and a hold of 98 before a wider correction. I'm not looking at that as being the most likely situation. So I think that there is still on the daily and potentially even the weekly, we'll see how this week closes, there's still the potential for the bulls to drive things higher, but we're likely in for a correction, and it's all about this next correction, wherever it comes from, whether it's here or higher. It's going to tell us a lot about the structure for this 60K local bottom area and the potential for it to become a macro bottom, or if we're looking at the potential for lower. And that's what I really want to impart that upon the audience, because it's going to take time to figure that out. And I suspect it's going to take a little bit longer. Um, as there are a lot of people now that are saying like, "Oh, you missed it. The cycles are changed and there is no cycle, or there is a cycle, but it's shifted," or like all of this conjecture around the subject. Is the next big correction is going to tell us a lot about where we are in terms of a macro low structure, or if we're going to be heading lower.
Are we? I asked you this question I think earlier this week, so I'll ask it again. Are we in the May go away? Is May go away still in play or no?
I think for traditional markets, profit taking through the back half of this month, or the latter half of this month, could potentially lead to a sell in May and go away kind of a scenario. But I wouldn't necessarily take that as a foregone conclusion. Obviously, it's a lot of it's based on seasonality, but we also have real economic reasons why we might see a risk off rotation that causes a sell in May and go away. But it's not a foregone conclusion.
Could
We'll
we
find
actually
out.
break this? Is there a chance we break the streak of May and go away kind of
I
thing,
mean,
or
we
no?
did last year. That was an outlier case. Last
Yeah.
year, sell in May and go away was not really the case. Um, well, see, here's the thing is like I've been looking for a correction in traditional markets off of some of the levels that were just hit. In particular, I've talked about this on the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday market updates. I've been talking about taking SPY 5 points at a time to the upside after the breakout. And I was looking, above 740, 745 to 750. We got that move, and now we got a gap down, but there's nothing structurally saying that there's a wider correction coming right now. I think we got to take it day by day, level by level. And, it's the trend is your friend until the end of the trend kind of thing. Um, I think that we need to come down and hit some bids. Um, but I also believe that markets can continue to melt up. And if we see that SPY, NASDAQ, and potentially even Dow follow through with a nice melt up, that would, while we might see wider corrections, might like put the kibosh on a sell in May and go away, and we get a larger sell off event later, like in coming into the summer. I'm still projecting for Bitcoin. I've told you one of two scenarios. We find a macro low or confirm a macro low somewhere at the end of Q3 coming into Q4, or we find that that plays out from Q4 into Q1 of next year. So I think that that's within the variance time frame for a lot of people. And now it's about watching the risk appetite in markets. And the risk appetite has been driving prices up in markets because Europe and Asia are feeling the squeeze. So they, a lot of the capital rotates to the US markets for safety and opportunity. And now it's about where does structure change, right? We're likely looking at a wider correction, if we start losing 730, right? And then it's about how does this bounce around for SPY? Or do we get a big sell off, big unwind in markets? Either thing could happen because we are in an environment where we are seeing inflation creep into the core metrics. And it's going to take a while, no matter what happens with energy prices. If they head down significantly, they'd have to stay there for a period of time, likely a couple months, in order to even see the result of those inflationary pressures beginning to come down in the core metrics for, like the Fed and bleed through to producer price index and like all of the rest. So real costs would still remain high. And inflation would still stay sticky until things caught up, right? And it started to work its way through the system and supply chains. So, I think that the capital flight to the United States markets is buoying them. But then there is going to be an arb trade to unwind, right? And I think that there's still more to go in terms of compressing that arbitrage in traditional markets. So I think that although we could see a correction, and maybe even a little bit of a wider correction. I don't think that it's like destined to roll over into the most catastrophic nuke that we've ever seen, as Mr. Burry has been talking about for, I don't know, ever, forever, literally forever. He's really good marketing himself. Like, kudos to him. By the way, he wasn't the only one that was calling that stuff out back then. But hey, shout out to him. He's done really well for himself in terms of marketing himself and branding himself in that way. So, but he's also one of the very loud voices that many people look at and say, well, he's calling for the most catastrophic market unwind in history. And it's like, yeah, no, we're not even there yet. We're not even at .com levels yet. And what we're seeing in markets over the past many years now in the new all-time highs is all of that money that was printed in 2020 and 2021 is still flowing around the system. It's not going away. It's just, it's where is it going and how is it moving? And we're seeing that has been creeping back into these markets in a big way for a long time now. And the PE ratios aren't as red hot as there are some that are really red hot, but for like in aggregate, they're not as crazy as they were in the .com bubble. But we'll see.
It's phenomenal to watch how the candles affect people's moods. When we were on a streak of 5 to 6 days of green, nothing but green, and people are fucking celebrating kumbaya, stripping naked, dancing like Borat and shit. But the last 2 days, it's over.
Yeah,
It's done. It's
well,
finished.
I think that people are also having trouble grappling with what's happening in markets. Like, for instance, there's a lot of people that don't understand why we're seeing the spread continue to widen between U.S. oil, which is WTI crude, and Brent crude. They don't get it. Like, they don't understand the reason why you're seeing
Oh,
that.
because Landy, you talk about oil. God bless you, man. You talk about oil. These motherfuckers are just talking about, like, come on. You know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really want to
They're not
understand what's
interested.
happening, you
But
need
they're
to
not
understand
interested.
what powers the actual global economy and its energy,
And they
right?
don't understand that, though. They don't get it. Like, you're
Well, they
not gonna get
definitely
that
aren't
through to
in
them.
Bitcoin then, that's for sure.
That's why.
Because if they were in Bitcoin, they'd understand that energy is economy. And that is, when you get an increase in energy costs, you get a depressed economy and it begins to slow. And we're seeing that it's called demand destruction. There's natural demand destruction, and then there's demand destruction via policy. And you can see how the narratives have been lining up, right? And when you get demand destruction, you get capital flight to begin with, and that demand destruction begins to affect the global economy. No matter if you're BRICS or Swift Nation, doesn't really matter, because the world is so interconnected and the economies are so interconnected and dependent on one another. In some places get hit harder than others. And Europe and Asia are getting hit way harder than the United States. And we're seeing the capital flee to the United States markets as the most liquid, safe markets on the planet. That's a trade. It will unwind, especially if we see energy stay sticky and higher. That will cause an unwind, but it's not the catastrophic events that many have been proposing at the beginning of the Iran conflict, for instance. So now it's about monitoring where the money goes and how it flows, right? And the China stuff seemed like very good, positive indications out of both the United States delegation and the Chinese that hosted. Um, and this is where, in a changing world and a changing global economy and geopolitical environment, a lot of people in the macro space and in the trading space, and they start to get they start to go back and rely on old models that are changing in real time. And if you don't understand that at the core of every model, no matter what model it is, that there is energy and you aren't paying attention, you're going to get slaughtered. You're going to get slaughtered when it keeps melting up and pumping to the upside and you don't know why because you don't understand capital rotation. And you're going to get slaughtered to the downside while you're screaming about all those green candles and nothing can ever go below X number. Oh, we're so bullish. Oh my God. Let's post to the timeline about how bullish we are. It'll never go below X. Yeah, no, you're wrong. It's just not how markets work. That's not how auctions work. That's not how money moves. Money is capturing value. And, that is where we are right now. And honestly, pay attention to my analysis because I have been doing this a long time and I have a track record that you can go back and actually look at. You can actually go and read the charts and listen to what I've said in each one of my videos for years and years and years and years now. Unlike the timeline that often when they're wrong, will just delete the post because they were wrong and they don't want to have the history of that. They make a bunch of posts, they delete the wrong ones and leave the right ones. I don't do that stuff. So I hope that those of you that are watching this stuff are paying attention because you want to have a good read and a realistic read of what's going on in markets and not just exuberance to the upside or downside.
Correct. And we'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we build Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the show. I don't know why that's on. Landy, what did you do?
I think I ended my share screen, so it's just stuck there.
Oh,
I mean, I'm getting oh, wait, what?
Landy.
Oh, I can reshare. Let's do that. Let's look at the broccoli head comments that I'm getting in my DMs right now.
I'm just trying to fix this, man. I am just trying to fix this. This is great.
Well, that's odd
Len
that
decided to be the fucking producer here.
I didn't touch anything. I don't even have
Okay,
control.
you got me off of fucking TikTok. Now you're trying to get me off of X, man. Like, what is up, man?
Let's see what happens if I reshare. What happens? Because I'm actually not logged in to the main account. So
Jesus Christ, bro.
there you go. Now I'm in the corner.
No, but this ain't it.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Look at oh, there we are. Now look at us. I didn't touch any of the scenes, so I don't even have access to them through this login.
Oh my lord, bro. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do here, man.
Here we can here you can watch.
I found it. I
there we
found it.
go.
Okay.
There you go.
You're trying to sabotage my fucking show. Okay. I see what's happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure. Do you see what's happening?
Thank you for the nice comments. Anyway, welcome back to the show. I think we have at 1:30. Let's see. I think we have Rob coming on at 1:30. He hasn't answered me back. I mean, I got beef with Rob, and I'm gonna tell him why I got beef with him. I don't know what time Rob wakes up. I got to tell you something. I don't know what time he wakes up, but he's calling me at like fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm still trying to sleep.
Yeah, you just went to bed, huh?
You know. This fucking watch starts shaking and shit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like, fuck.
I feel bad because I was
Rob,
supposed to be back to Rob
what is
last
it? Like,
week.
Rob, are you 3 hours behind? Like, what is happening here? Are you fucking 3 hours ahead? Is that even a thing? 3 hours ahead?
I don't even know where Rob is in the world. But is he
I'm
just
like, holy shit, I'm sleeping.
he's traveling quite a bit, right? So he could be anywhere.
I couldn't make his show on Wednesday. I had a lot of things. Yeah, I've been so busy, man. The Cash App commercial took everything out of me. You see, like, a lot of you guys don't understand because you work with Mickey Mouse shit, right? When you work with professionals, right? Like big time Fortune 500 companies, right? Everything matters. Even like if it's an extra second long, they want that to be cut out. Like, it's crazy. But I understand. Like, that's how they want their brand to be represented. That's it. I get it. But it's tough. It's a lot of takes, man. It's a lot of takes, got a lot of redos and all this shit, man. Shout out to Cash App. Shout out to Cash App. Yo, people are crazy though. The commercial comes out, they're like, yo, can you Cash App me money? I'm like, what the fuck did this have? What does this have to do with the commercial? Like, nothing in the commercial states that I'm going to take out my Bitcoin and send it to you. I'm so lost there. Like, where did you get that within the commercial? Where did you get where I'm going to send you money? And why wasn't I getting Cash App requests? I had people send me like, hey, send me $1,000. Like, what are you crazy? You guys have the audacity to send me a invoice for $1,000, asking me for money, a request for $1,000. You're no better than the guy that was stealing money from the stripper. What do you think I do here every day? I'm stripping. Except I don't get no tips. I got a tip jar that the last time somebody sent me a tip was in 1964, bro. Like, what are we even talking about here, bro? Like, you should be tipping me. This is why I'm moving to YouTube, because I want tips. If I'm shaking my ass out here, I better be getting tips. And instead, this is how broke my audience is. You know, if anybody ever says, yo, you lead your audience to the slaughterhouse, I can go ahead and show you stats that my audience is broke. Okay? I have let them know. I have tried desperately to tell them to go get a job. Don't go into crypto if you have less than like fucking 500, like, no, less than $5,000 to your name. If you can't afford rent, if you can't pay your electric bills and all utilities and all that, I recommend you get a job. I'm like, get a 401k plan, IRAs and shit. You don't hear me fucking, you can never ever say that. I can prove it. My audience broke as hell.
So,
Audience left. By the way, half my audience isn't even here today because they're online to get their welfare checks. Okay, so like, it's Friday.
well, today was apparently update the algorithm day.
Yeah, I know.
And then release it, and like everybody is I don't know, it's like readjusting. I've seen like streams, spaces, and posts just not really adjusting today and really
I'm getting
getting
cooked out
traction
here. Don't
anywhere.
worry about it. I'm getting cooked out here.
It's wild. Like but I'm seeing
I
like
don't got my
normal.
TikTok account, which has, I mean, like fucking my big following, bro. Like, it's taken down by a puppet.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for saying nothing controversial on the show that you actually got freaking suspended on. It was the day before that everything that was being said was controversial.
No. I think I got taken down honestly for the commercials.
Oh, because the sponsor ads?
Yeah.
That's no, come on, really?
Yeah.
That's not no.
I read a tweet. From somebody. Somebody reposted this and they answered it, but it came down on my timeline. There's a guy who said that like he's in his 40s now and now he feels like he can't. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly what he said. And I kind of said like, I don't know. By the way, this is Men's Health Talk right now. I know a lot of you guys hate that, but hold on. Let me read that real quick. So the guy said, man, I'm about to be 43 and I can actually feel myself falling out of my physical prime. No HRT, and I've been able to fight it off through my late 30s and early 40s by staying active, but not mid 40s. I'm starting to get weaker in the gym. The salt and pepper is becoming mostly gray, and I don't think I can even touch the rim anymore. I don't know what rim he's talking about. You somehow in your mind know it will come one day, but for it to actually get here is crazy, or is a crazy experience. I see why people have midlife crisis now, because you start to lose the version of yourself that you have been for your whole adult life. I read that and I was like, okay, the dude's 43. I'm like, bro, really? Because I don't feel like I'm in my prime. I don't feel like any sort, like, look, we probably all lose a step and shit.
Yeah.
In terms of like, but like, all bullshit aside, real conversation, especially for the men out there, man. I don't feel like I've lost this. Like, I don't feel okay. I don't feel like I'm losing anything. If anything, I feel stronger now than I did when I was in my 20s, which is crazy. Because you would think it's the opposite. As
Well,
you get older, no, I've actually, I feel, like if I feel like I need to take one of those, like, you know, where people hit the bag and to see their PSI. Like,
yeah.
I feel like my punch is stronger now than it was in my 20s, and I was pretty good in my 20s. So I don't know,
think it's
man.
more one of the things that I would argue that 40s, in your 40s, how you take care of yourself is different. And if you adjust to how you're taking care of yourself, you can maintain a high standard of performance, if not achieve higher performance than prior. But you do lose reaction time, unless you have kids and you have
No.
the dad reflexes.
I don't know if like I don't know if that's true, Landy.
I
I don't feel like
in
I've lost.
aggregate in aggregate it is. It's not gonna be at an individual level. There's some people who, like, are in much better shape, because of their concentration on their health as they get older than they were when they were younger. And I think that that starts because you start to see that you need to make the changes before it's too late. But I like the quote unquote interview, fake interview with Michael Jordan, where they said, do you think that the '90s Bulls could beat LeBron and the Lakers today? And he said, yeah. And he said, by how much? And he said, by probably like 3 points. And they were like, you really think that the '90s Bulls could beat them, beat today's iteration in the NBA of the LeBron and the Lakers? And he said, yeah. And he's like, what makes you think that? He's like, well, we're in our 60s now. So,
I read that.
um,
No,
which is
look,
hilarious, but it speaks to, if you look at these guys, these peak athletes as they've gotten older, the moment that as you get older, the moment you take your foot off the gas of maintaining a high level of performance, it does start to slip pretty quickly.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you. I think this is it. Listen, I'm not a doctor, but I think this is it. I think as you get older, if you stop lifting, then you'll slowly see your muscles start going away. Hopefully, people understood what I fucking said there.
Yeah.
Like, you
I
won't like. It's easier to get away with it when you're in your 20s than it is when you're in your 30s or 40s.
Personal experience for me is that it's slower to build muscle, but I have a lot more muscle mass. And I've been able to maintain that muscle mass. Whereas I could bounce between, um, bulk and cut when I was younger much faster. I have to be more careful these days as I get older. So I'm more
See, I don't have
restrictive in
that.
my eating. So I
I can
can't
I
bulk
can
and
throw
cut
on I could throw on 30 pounds easy and strip it off
and move
within
right to
3
cut.
weeks.
Yeah, I can't. Not as quickly as I used to. So I'm much more careful and regimented about how I eat, what I eat. Um, but I have consistently been able to maintain and even grow muscle mass as I've gotten older. And for me, it's a practical function because I have a special needs disabled child who's getting older and bigger the older that I get. So I actually have to maintain good health in that regard, or else I start losing in terms of being able to assist and help. So
Yeah.
those are like, but it's going to be different for everybody, and it really does come down to genetics, right? Like, there's some people that are just gifted. I've got some friends that are in their 50s and they are in phenomenal shape and they are still competing, which is,
Sorry, your friend went ahead and made a
growing your
comment.
head doesn't count as muscle mass, lady. Yo, Bits, shout out to Bits. Freaking love Bits. He is such a
Uh,
good troll.
Landy, like it does come down to genetics also, and I have to say that that Viking blood does work. There is something to be said about genetics, 100%.
I've got
100%.
I've got a large portion of Italian genetics, so I have to fight
The
off the
meatballs.
inevitable meatballization of the body. Um, but I've
I don't know, like that. When I read that post, like I kind of like started thinking, like, is that true? Like, is that true? And I'm like,
I I
you know,
will
like,
s I will say I'm stronger than I've been. Even I'm stronger than at my peak in terms of pure strength. and the what has dropped off is the endurance side. So like
See, like
I
for
can
me, it
lift
hasn't.
more,
That
heavier.
endurance, no. Like my endurance, like I put on the mask. You know the mask, right?
Yeah.
Like I can go at it.
Yeah,
You know what it is? Your
it's just
sleep is
different
very
genetics.
important. Sleeping is very important. Like if you can get 7 to 8 hours in every single day and the
That's my
schedule's
problem.
right.
Yeah,
Look at
my
Marky Mark, bro. Like look, there's so many people to look at where like they have legit okay, you want to say you lost a step? Cool. Like for me, I don't if I lost a step, I gain acceleration. Like I don't know how to explain it.
yeah, not for me. It's been I can I can lift heavier. Um it's just the endurance side. So but that's also, then there's the other side of that. It cuts both ways is that you're lifting heavier. It's harder to lift heavier at the same rate that you were lifting lighter. So it really just, for me, it comes down to I know it's genetics that I'm fighting and time that I'm fighting, and I don't sleep enough. I do not. I
Yeah.
don't sleep very much at all,
If you
and
don't
that is a
sleep, then
big
you're gonna
factor.
feel that. Like, if you
Yeah.
don't sleep, you're going to feel like okay, so I don't believe like, look at people from the '70s, right? '80s when they were 35 versus people that look 35 today, right? And I believe, like, if when you really look at 35-year-olds back then and now, like, it's totally different. People look younger now, like, hella younger now versus back then in the '80s and '90s.
I often get mistaken for being in my 30s still. I would argue that that's just a function of, um, if you're eating correctly, because you can look way older if you're eating like shit. But if you're eating correctly and you're
Smoking, right?
watching
Smoking was a big
smoking,
thing
yeah.
back then, right? Nobody
Yep.
I don't really have anybody that I'm friends with that smokes. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't have people that smoke Newports or Marlboros, whatever. I mean, like, nobody's
I
doing
like
that.
I like cigars. So, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
not.
cigars are different. Like, I'm talking about, like,
No, like a
fucking
pack
smoking
a
a
day
pack.
smokers
Like,
and stuff. Yeah.
there you
Yeah.
go. D3 and K2. D3 and K2 game changer. Definitely take D3 with K2. This is not medical advice, by the way, but K2, uh,
You want to
it's a must to have it with
talk
D3.
health stuff? Bits of Wealth is really deep into this stuff too, with a lot of similar things that you've talked about. He's talked about
Vitamin
also.
C,
Yeah.
vitamin C. You take like I'll tell you what I do. You shouldn't do what I do, but like absolutely. When Bit says D3 with K2,
Yes.
100%, and then you I 100% vitamin C. Obviously, I take collagen. I do, I take peptides, but like not the fucking ones to lose weight. Not the what is it, GP?
GPL ones.
Yeah, I don't do that
Those are the
shit.
weight
I
loss
don't
ones.
need that. I don't need any of that shit. So, um, I do take creatine, but I don't take creatine for muscle building. I take it for, and I do believe this works. I really do believe that creatine does put you in a better state of mind. I believe that 100%. And I
What's
know there are other
interesting.
benefits, like you can get an extra rep in, but like I don't need. Trust me, I don't need creatine for that. But the whole thing that I'm testing out, honestly, is mind state and mood, and it does
Yes.
clear out any brain fog and all that. Like it really does work. Obviously, you should check with your medical professional to see if you know
Blood
the
work
only
is
thing that
very important.
yeah. Some people just take it; they don't give a fuck about the blood work, and then
Well, that's yeah. I used to be able to do that, but that's how I've optimized, my stack for everything, right? So when I'm whether, vitamins, creatine, protein, all that kind of stuff, that particular stack. I was going to say this, which what I find interesting, and someday I hope they reach out. I had to travel quite a bit the past month or so, right? I've been kind of all over the place. So it's becomes difficult to maintain that vitamin and regimen, like all that other supplement regimen. So I finally relented and I got the AG1 because I went through their latest batch testing and like all of that. I'll be honest, that stuff actually was really good and really helpful when I was traveling. I you know, shout out AG1 if you want to sponsor me. But
Oh my
the
God.
but I'm being 100% genuine. Like I don't have any sponsorship. I mean, we're not affiliated in any way. Neither is David. But I was always very skeptical of them. Obviously, they grew very, very quickly, and then they're on Rogan, they're everywhere, right? But I was like, I need something for these trips, and I can't carry around all this crap, right? That I normally
Yeah.
have for my stack, and I took still some extra supplements that aren't in it, but I was pleasantly surprised that it was not much of a change. I didn't feel any different. In fact, I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe it's just in my head, but I felt almost better in some ways. And I don't know if that's because of a change or something like that. It's something that I don't really have answers to, but I went and I took my got my blood tested when I came back, and I was in all of my levels perfect. And I was like, there might be something to that. I don't know. I'm not a know-it-all when it comes to this stuff. Used to enjoy when you did spaces, and I was regularly on spaces later at night when Joey would come up on stage and talk about health and fitness and stuff like that too. So he had a lot of good advice on that.
I for a long time I did not want to take creatine. Like I never took
Why?
creatine. And then I did my own homework and then I spoke to people and they were like, it really like it was more from a mental standpoint, like with creatine. Like they're like, yo, like my mental, like the brain fog has gone. A lot of people took creatine after COVID because a lot of people
Yeah.
had brain fog and shit, and like it's helped them. Again, this is not medical advice, by the way. You should see your doctor.
Yes.
This is just me. Just what the fuck? This guy's fucking typing to his friend, texting each other. I think Rob's not coming on here today, by the way. So let's go ahead and just. This is a fun topic, by the way, to talk about. I will
Yeah.
say though one more thing. I'm just like I've ordered even heavier weights now,
Hmm.
like heavier weights. I literally I expected a problem. I didn't have a problem at all. Like I am lifting like n- not even I'm not saying it's not challenging. What I'm saying is lifting like I'm 20, dog. Like it's the strength is there, man. I work
Well,
like I go on the treadmill all the time. Here's my thing. I run and I go on the treadmill. So when it comes to endurance, because you kept on bringing that up, I have that. Like I can walk the entire city with no
yeah.
problem. Like I go to New York City, I can from from start to finish, I have no problem. I'll never have a problem with that. Knock on wood.
Well,
Anyway,
I was
let's
just
get away
gonna
from
say.
men's health because a lot of people will go now get creatine because I said it and shit.
Well, I was just gonna say this. Much like I tell people that your risk profile for your portfolio is gonna be different for everyone. It's the same when it comes to your health. So definitely make sure that you are at the doctor talking to them about what you are doing and what you plan to do and what your goals are. And that's how you create your plan, right? And it's hedging, it's risk management for your health so that you can actually stick around to experience life-changing wealth, right? Especially if you're in this space.
You gotta look good, man. I don't know. A lot of people have like I've looked at people and they just like I don't know. Let me shut the fuck up. I
Pitt
just
says
don't know.
creatine shortage incoming. You heard it here on the breakdown first.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Freaking love bits.
I please guys like don't take creatine, okay? Because of me. Figure that shit out on your own. Okay. They'll go just get some random creatine, bro. Random creatine. I can already see it. I'm already thinking about and by the way, I really eat a lot of protein now. Like I really
Pause.
do eat a lot of protein. Fucking Jesus Christ.
Come on, how can I pass that up? How can I
No, but
pass
it
that up?
helps because you keep you know, like you see a difference in your body. Like when you're just,
Yeah.
when you're eating beef and shit, like instead of going into like carbs. Like I watch that. I watch. If you're gonna eat carbs, you better be exercising that day.
The
You know,
problem
like
is most carbs are trash. And they're refined. And even, what I don't like is, you're right outside the city, right? Known for some of the best bakeries on the planet. But even they are they're starting to use trash in their product. And it's like, you gotta just be, man, I'm part of the anti-carb cabal. I
I
am.
mean, I'll take some carbs in before I go work out, right? Because
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Complex
but that's
carbs.
how
Yeah.
you do it. Like you can't eat that shit and then like go to sleep or some shit, like or sit and just relax, because that's when you build up the V fat, bro. Um, People are like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, Trump's China visit went well? Question mark.
It did.
But I love it. I really do love this new overlay. I am not gonna front. I'm staring at this
It looks
overlay. I'm
good.
like,
I like that it's evocative of the American flag.
you know how I'm a proud American.
Same.
I love America. I really do. I'm so grateful that I was born here.
It's
I am.
it
I'm
eh,
happy that my parents chose to. Well, they didn't choose. They had no choice. But I'm glad that they left Europe and they came here legally, waited in line, and came here. And I was born here, and I'm proud, really proud.
yeah.
When I rock this flag, I'm like proud of it. Like we're the greatest country in the world. We are literally the greatest country in the world. It is a fucking honor to be an American.
I
Not everything's
agree.
perfect, but it's an honor. It's an
Nope.
honor.
Warts and all,
Okay?
still the best.
100%. And I think like we've had our history here in the United States of America, but it's where would you rather live? You guys talk about Russia, you talk about China, you throw out these places like
Yeah.
you've never even been there. You have never left your own state.
You know
You
what I
don't know
find
what it's like.
you know
You
what I
do
find
not know
funny
what it's
about the
like.
commies?
No, but it's
The
just like
American communists that say that they
they,
wanna move away.
yeah,
They
but that
never
once
wanna
they move
move to
away,
China.
they wouldn't. They wouldn't survive in Russia. I'm telling you, in Eastern Europe, you would not survive. A lot of them watch a lot of this Discovery Channel shit. Like, oh, let's look at the supermarkets. Like, that's one supermarket for the whole fucking country. Like, you would never survive. Never. Never. And you would never be allowed to talk the way you talk. A lot of you guys run your mouths about the United States of America. You run your mouths about the president.
Try that
You
in
would
China.
never get away with that. Never. Try that shit in China.
Try
Try
it
that
in
shit in
Russia.
Russia. Yo,
Mhm.
when Putin smiles, like, have you ever read Putin's scouting report from the KGB? Have you
Yo,
guys ever read his scouting
wild.
report? The KGB said they didn't recommend for him to be in the KGB.
What I think is interesting is that Europe
They don't
is
get it.
very
The
quickly on
cops.
the same kind of path that they criticize.
My father told me, if your hair wasn't cut a certain way in Europe, they'd stop you and cut the hair for you.
Mm,
Like,
mhm.
you guys do not understand how privileged you are to be an American. Like, you don't understand. Like, you run your mouths, but you would never survive because of the freedom. You know what the problem is? You would probably be able to survive if you were born there, right? Because that's it. Like, when you're born in a certain place, you learn how to live. You adapt. None of you motherfuckers that have grown up here, privileged as fuck, would be able to adapt to these conditions. It wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to speak. It's funny, like you guys think that you would be able to go over to Russia and speak freely, like the way you speak here. No, that King Putin would put your ass in jail indefinitely. You're not leaving. Okay? You're not leaving. and the prisons there, bro.
Oh, I hear they're
I
like
don't think
day
they.
spas.
I don't even think they've been maintenance since 1764, bro. Like they're not comfortable conditions.
One of the things that I did want to actually speak to,
So let's talk
post
about the China,
Trump,
I guess.
yeah, Xi meeting is that one. I think it went well on both sides. I think what's more important to take away from that meeting is the messaging out of Xi himself and Trump, because obviously it it was a good meeting. It was obviously productive. So what is the American media immediately trying to do to sabotage that and throw a wrench in that? And we're looking at the European media starts it, then the American media carries the water. And it's all about they threw away the gifts. This is security protocol, right? That this is
I laughed.
Yeah, it's security protocol. Like you have to understand how bringing gifts from, and it'd be the same for Chinese delegation that's going to be coming here to the United States, right? Is that it is a competition, and I like the way that Xi framed it. I like the way that Trump framed it. You can coexist as competition and not enemies. And part of the reason why that messaging is coming out of Xi and the regime in China
They're
is
broke.
because of the actions that Trump and the administration have taken since the moment he came into office, with energy production first, tariffs next, go to Venezuela, start really clamping down on things there before eventually taking
Andy,
Maduro and
I
now
don't
going
think
to
he
the Strait.
expected that though. I don't think Xi expected
He didn't.
what what
I
Trump
don't think
did
he thought
with
he
the
would do it.
administration. I don't think he expected it.
Yeah, and I don't think he thought that that was gonna occur. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest news out of that meeting is um, that China is willing to buy energy from the United States. Now we're gonna see how real these are, and we'll see it in the markets and in the contracts. But
Yeah.
buying oil and liquefied natural gas from the United States is a big deal. And it's not because China all of a sudden just wants to be best friends with the United States. It's because their hands are forced. And
Correct.
Trump knew that he had to get this done. That's why he delayed the meeting. That's why there's a blockade in the strait. It's why that's why Trump's very first tour coming back into office was to touch base on the Abraham Accords in the Middle East. And what a lot of people don't seem to understand is a lot of this has to do with Saudi Arabia directly and the history of the Gulf nations and Iran and how any of this situation even came about. And you know, China's hand is forced, Russia's hand is being forced as well. And I think that ultimately this is a new realignment and global strategy. And we are going to see the superpowers buck the trend of Europe trying to run the show. And Europe is the outsized loser in this scenario when it comes to pulling strings through alliance partners. And I think that sovereign nations and the biggest sovereign nations in the world, the superpowers, are ready to say, no, we're taking the wheel now, not you. And allowing for those Abraham Accord nations and those Gulf nations to start steering themselves, which UAE already started, Saudis already doing it. Um, it's a realignment, I think, that is for the better. And Europe will readjust because they are being forced to. And that was the crying that was happening. I call it Carney crying. The Carney wah wah fest right before Trump left to China, and all of the surrogates that push the narrative for that entire regime out of Europe and London specifically straight through to Canada. Well, they had to have their meetings because they have to adjust to what the superpowers are doing now. And I think in the end, it will be better for all involved, even though the crying carnies of the world are going to continue to cry and kick and scream and try to sabotage things. So,
Speaking of somebody who just woke up,
oh, Rob's here.
yeah, let's bring in Rob on this topic and let's get your guys' thoughts here. He wants to be me today again. Let's go ahead and put
You
this here.
know, I'm just gonna say this, like, this is your strategy, is to not tell me the night before, so I'm not prepared, so I don't necessarily can't make the time you send me last minute. And you
Well,
avoided my
Rob
call. You
should know.
avoided my
Shouldn't
storm.
Rob know that we are on? He's on every Friday at 1:30 to 1:45 p.m.
No,
Eastern
you
Standard
changed the
Time.
times on me,
I don't
and you
change
blew
it.
me up,
No, I didn't.
and
You
I
called me
want
at
everyone
5
to know
o'clock
you.
in the morning. I'm
Well, I called
sleeping.
you over the weekend. I called
No,
you
you
over the
call me.
weekend.
You call me every day.
Andy,
5 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning.
you know, and Andy, he avoided my show on Wednesday. Like he said he'd
No,
come
I
on
didn't.
last minute. He canceled
I
because
had
he
an
was scared to
emergency,
face the
bro.
hard truth. Yeah, whatever.
So I've heard.
I
I've
missed
heard that
one
there's
show. One show I missed. Like, okay,
Yeah, the one you
he
missed,
must.
the biggest one. You missed the biggest one, the one where it's really all come, where it's like you could finally would have to acknowledge, things might not be going exactly as planned.
Okay, so let's talk
Iran's
about
like,
what's not going exactly as planned. Well, Landy was touching on this, but 60 seconds all around here. What do you think about Trump's visit to China?
all right. I think it's interesting, right? I have to remind myself he went once before too. He went in 2017. Um, I, I I think it's interesting. I think it's strategically timed well. Trump's really good at foreign visits in general. He's really good at really good at the world stage. He's good at owning the pomp and circumstance of it. He's good at using a little bit of power play through it, kind of delivering a message. I love that he brought the American CEOs with him. I thought that was a powerful statement. I think that the biggest thing on his mind was getting China to agree that Iran needs to be checked, because the strait is now being literally shut down by their little swarm boats, and China wants that energy. I will say this though, and Landy, I'd love your thoughts. I think she was not accidental in making Xi Jinping was not accidental in making clear how important Taiwan was, and how much, if you don't, what's it called, the Theraceutics, whatever it is, the thing where a bigger power and a newer power clash and have a war. That if we don't get on board with their view of that Taiwan has to be part of them, it's going to lead to a serious conflict. I do think that he's watched what happened in Iran. I think she agrees with my assessment, which is Trump's smart, but he thought Iran was going to fold faster and they didn't. And politically, he can't keep going. And I think he's like, no way he gets in the way of us taking over this Taiwan. And I think he makes a move on Taiwan in the next 18 months. That's what I think.
I fundamentally disagree with you on each one of those points, because I think that is
I'm not surprised.
that is a complete misread of the situation in my assessment. Trump went in with all of the cards. China is on the decline, not the incline. All right. This is where they're in involution. Their real estate markets are falling apart. They are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to the export side of things. They have a Taiwan that is now being armed in earnest against any possible threats. They do not have the military might that has been proven out through their tech. Why do you think all these countries have pivoted to Russian tech instead of Chinese tech for missile defense and offensive capabilities as well? They are hemmed in. And his speech about Taiwan is that, honestly, they're scared. That was to me a capitulation speech. That was not oh, we're going to go to war with Taiwan. Do you understand what would happen to China if they went to war with Taiwan? Taiwan is this neutral place where the world, not just the United States, gets their chip fab from. All right. Not just the United States. This is not just a US interest. This is the world's interest. And if they so much as lay a hand on it, the entire world will come together to defend Taiwan. It is a single point of failure, much like the Strait of Hormuz used to be and is no longer. The Strait of Hormuz, Rob, does not matter anymore. They can send as many little pirate fast attack boats as they want on the strait. It means nothing. There's nothing moving. There hasn't been anything moving. The entire global energy infrastructure supply chain has already readjusted and would just further. I mean, look at UAE pumping out past the blockade, and then you've got Saudi Arabia on the other side. The only thing that matters is if Iran goes death blossom and damages their infrastructure. That's it now. That's all they got. They hold no cards, no chips, no nothing. They're losing support. They're the commitment out of Xi to like not send armament in, whether you can take him at face value or not remains to be seen. The same coming from Russia. We know differently in terms of intelligence sharing and stuff's coming over the border and stuff being smuggled in. We know about that. They hold no cards in this regard. And Taiwan is not a card in their favor. Taiwan is actually a checkmate on them, because if you think that CENTCOM, one piece of the United States military, if you look at that one piece of the United States military absolutely decimating one of your allies that you were getting really cheap energy from, after already taking out an ally that you had in South America and Venezuela, and you're looking at the board, at this chessboard, and you're going, oh no, we're in a winning strong position, then they would be foolish to do so, because they will get absolutely decimated if they tried to move on Taiwan, because the entire world will constrict them into being a siloed hermit nation. They will not be able to export anything. They will devolve into nothing, which is why they want to work with the United States as partners, not as enemies.
You can counter right now.
Well, yeah. So, again, Landy, you make your arguments are really convincing. And it's the same. And I'm not going to argue the logic of what you're saying. And I'm not even going to argue the strategic wisdom of it. I mean, I hate that you still won't acknowledge that, what happened with the Strait of Hormuz was not at this point what the U.S. wants. Like, we're not happy that they are literally now like completely stopping all energy traffic moving, all ships from moving through there. And I truly believe that, I deeply believe that this administration is not happy at this point that Iran just keeps showing up to the table with proposals that are preposterous. Like give us sanctions, lift sanctions, give us money for reparations, lift all, release all the funds. And by the way, we'll talk about nukes one day. I think this administration is in a bit of a quandary because they don't want to go back into a military conflict. That's all I was saying. I think you're right about China. But once again, I think you might be miscalculating the same way I really think they miscalculated how insistent, how irrational Iran would be. Hold on. I think you're probably right. I think China, same way Russia went into Ukraine, same way Iran shut down the strait. I'm not going to be surprised if China
shut the strait down, Rob. They have no navy to shut it down. It's shut down because of who?
That's why gas is $5 in Tennessee.
There has been traffic. We don't get oil from the strait, Rob. You know this.
Yes, but we are affected by oil prices and the fact that they've shut down literally all traffic moving through the strait. I mean, that's a fact. There's no traffic moving through it.
And you know that the supply chain. See, because I'm working from fundamentals, Rob. From fundamentals, because I watch the flows.
I didn't even get a full response, David. I got shut off in the middle.
Well, because you're picking at a
specific. I got shut off before my point. No. I let you make your whole point. You won't let me finish my point. I think.
Go ahead, Rob. Go make your point.
I think China will make a move on Taiwan, whether you think that's rational or not. I would agree that they are not in the power position they want to be. I think that sometimes people in less powerful positions make moves to try to leverage that power, even if it's not going to work for them. It's like, it doesn't make sense, like purely rationally, but it makes sense that they might go, we're going to leverage our strength right now and make a move on it. I don't think they think the world will step in. I don't think they think anybody wants to put boots on the ground in anything that causes casualties in the Western world. So I do think they could make an irrational move to try to get Taiwan and lock it in. And I'm not sure we would respond militarily. I don't think we want to be in a military conflict with China. I think we would. I'm not sure what we would do. I think we're hoping they don't do it.
Okay.
None of that's disagreeing that you're right about their power position and where they're really at and the real balance of power. But again, you know, people do dumb things sometimes, even nations, when they have to somehow show that they're what they think they want the world to see they are.
Okay. So, all right. Your fundamental disagreement is with what I'm saying is that the straight does not matter, and the United States administration has said this since the beginning. It does not matter to the United States. Your contention is, well, it pushes oil prices up. It doesn't matter when you have pumping occurring outside of that strait now, and it's already hitting speed and increasing. The only thing that matters is the supply chain infrastructure in the Gulf nations. All right. The strait could be open tomorrow, Rob, and we would not see gas prices decrease in terms of the overall net effect that would actually push prices down for quite some time
For about
because
4
of
months,
the
I'd
demand
say.
destruction. Huh?
I'd say it's going to be a couple months at least before the price.
Yeah, even
go down.
if oil prices crash to, you know, 60 to 70 bucks a barrel, you're not going to feel that in any of the economies in Europe, Asia, or even the United States for quite some time. So I agree with you there. But the straight long term only matters to China and Europe, and it would and here's the key. You would have to have Iran on board in the actual system that is trading oil above board for it to matter now. The game has changed. The game is completely different now from the Red Sea to the opposite side of the strait where the UAE is pumping out to. The only player in this game that is the big loser with the strait being closed now is Iran. So they're either got to shit or get off the pot, because if they don't become a part of the wider global economy and the energy markets, they are the ones that are the losers here. It's not the other Gulf nations. They already have solutions that are being employed and solutions that are going to be employed in the future. In fact, there's even new pipelines being built with the backing of Saudi Arabia and United States corporations to assist Europe that completely takes them out of the picture. So there's other straits that you got to pay attention to. And when it comes to Taiwan, you're very correct that yes, you can have irrational nations that are not on the incline make really rash decisions because they believe that the United States or Europe wouldn't get involved. But here's the thing. Everything that you just said is a good thing for the United States, not a bad thing for the United States. This is a very powerful position for the United States to be in, and it's increasing in its power and positioning. And I think the opposite's going to happen. I think that you're going to see Russia come to the table, China come to the table. You're going to see new trade deals you're going to see Russia come back into the fold and not be sanctioned. You're going to see sanctions lifted for United States product going to China. And you're going to see that tariffs likely being lowered sector by sector with some protectionism for the United States and a reestablishment of that relationship with China. And I think a lot of it's going to be aimed at getting Europe on board and to turn away from some of the agenda that Europe has had for quite some time in terms of globalization in favor of sovereign nation. That's my opinion. And I'm basing that on the economic data.
You know, I get it. You know, David, I feel like Landy, I'm like, it's like when you're watching a movie or like a good like kind of suspense story where, you know, like House of Cards kind of thing, where so where one side's already seen what the other side's going to do, so they're kind of like, oh, it looks like this is going to happen. But Landy goes to sleep peacefully at night, knowing that he's already seen around the corner. Like, they say they want the Strait open, they really don't. Oh, they say that they need Iran to give us the uranium, they really don't. And maybe you're right, Landy. But I wish I could go to sleep as peacefully as you. I do think China's going to make a move on Taiwan in the next year, 18 months. And I do think that Iran, I
think that's suicide.
What's that?
I think it's suicidal for China to make a move on Taiwan, because I agree with Landy. Then it's not just an American thing. You bring in the entire world, because they are, Taiwan is ultimately the chip maker, and you're going to bring everybody, every single country is going to come after China, and China don't want that. China can't take that on either. It's not like, even if they want to do it, they can't take it on. Like, they will get destroyed. So I don't see them. I don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that. That is some pipe dream. Not saying you, even we're not going to discuss who you voted for, but but that's a Democrat type of dream.
Dissent on this show means you must like Kamala Harris. You should have come on my Wednesday show.
Look, you guys spoke for 30 minutes. I listened to you guys. Here's how I'll break it down. Number one, China, the things that you can take away, China doesn't want to see a nuclear Iran. So I guess there's an agreement there with the United States of America that Trump's doing the right thing, because can you only imagine? Second, to act like Iran was not going to go ahead and close off the Strait is crazy. Because as soon as they would have created a nuke, it would have been closed without even the United States doing an operation there. It would have been closed. So all these talking points that I listen to, like from you guys, from CNN, when I watch all these shows, it's just like, it's funny. I sit back, I'm like, you guys actually think like Iran wasn't planning this? Like, you think they came up with this while the United States of America came and did an operation on them? No, they were planning this. They were planning everything. The rockets weren't supposed to go more than 2,000 miles. They did, right? Like, there are a bunch of liars there. They absolutely lied to the entire world. I'm glad that Trump has done what he's done. I hope they finish them off completely. As for our economy, I think we're in a great position. I mean, me and Landy talked about this kind of yesterday. Cuba, guess who landed there yesterday? The United States of America. The director of the CIA landed in Cuba yesterday. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to be in our back pocket at the end of the day. And like, we are setting ourselves up, as the ultimate fueling station for the world. I like it. And that means that we'll generate money that'll go into this economy. Hopefully we bring down the debt and the deficits, and we're going to be sitting in a good position. It doesn't happen overnight. My whole thing is, I think you're allowed, freedom of speech is a beautiful thing. We can go ahead and look at all these things and complain or critique shit. Let's see what happens long term, because I have a feeling if like this all plays out the way they want it to play out, I have a good feeling like the United States of America is in the really, really powerful position after all said and done. So, I've watched Democrats that sat back and said we shouldn't have touched Iran. We should have left them alone, which is crazy. Same people that care about human rights apparently don't care about 40 to 50,000, Iranian people being slaughtered in the streets by this regime themselves. So it's wild, like sitting back and listening to people that say free Palestine, but don't give a shit about the Iranian people getting destroyed. So, okay. I can go on and on and on, but, not everything's going to be perfect. But, we are living in the United States of America. We should want to be, we should want to root for our president and the administration to put us in the top position. And that is to cement ourselves as the fucking global leader of the fucking world, right? Yes or no? Like, why
that doesn't bar them from criticism.
Why are we rooting?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to just say what Landy said.
No, but you
I
can
don't think
criticize.
that
That's fine. You have freedom of
you
speech.
can.
Go for it. But
No,
you
it's
guys
not freedom of
criticize him
speech.
taking a
It's not.
shit.
It's not freedom of speech. It's not. You have the freedom. I hate this argument. You have the freedom of speech.
No, but you
I
guys
hate when.
critique Trump when he
Hold
takes
on.
your
Hey,
shit. Like
hey,
it's
hey,
weird.
hey. If you'd had the guts to come on my show like you're supposed to on Wednesday, or had you listened, you would have
I
heard that
missed
the
one
first
show.
15
I
minutes,
missed one show. One show.
the
One
first
show.
15 minutes was an all-out defense for Trump being elected president twice, and for the value.
I didn't say
the
you.
sheer.
Did I say
Hold
you?
on.
Did I say Rob? I said
No.
that
But
there's
I'm saying
half the country is sitting there critiquing every move that
Okay,
he makes.
that's the nature of democratic society. And the problem I have is people are like, you're allowed to have free speech, but why do you have to say? I think it's healthy to have an open discussion and disagreement and
Also, root
debate
against
about
the
things. And it's
military.
okay, hold on. It's
Root
okay
against
for
the
me to
military,
say,
right?
hold on. No, root against whatever you want. I'm not saying
They're
people should
sitting there.
root
They're
against the
literally
military.
openly sitting and rooting for the United States of America to lose. People that claim to be Americans are hoping that America loses this battle with Iran. This is how psychotic they are.
Some people, yes. I think other people are concerned whether this is the right move to make or whether we're winning. Again, I said this on my show on Wednesday. Landy, you weren't there, and you can come on Wednesdays whenever you want to. Maybe you come on because David flakes on me sometimes. I don't think there's any version of us losing a war to Iran. There is a version of Iran just outlasting our patience and our political will, and us not essentially winning what we want. That's all I've been trying to say. I don't think we lose. It's like I always say the British didn't lose a war to the colonies. They just got tired and pulled up stuff, and America just had to. The colonies just had to outlast the British. We didn't like destroy Britain's military. They just were finally tired, too expensive, too politically costly. Let them go be independent. I do worry that Iran is trying to just play the long game and wear us out and wait through the midterms and hope that they never have to ever capitulate to the points we want. I'm not, David, disagreeing that we did the right thing. I've been the one of the three of us that said, I wish we would go back in and finish the job. Like,
You
literally.
might get that. You might get that wish fulfilled
I am just
based on
frustrated.
Trump's.
I'm frustrated with some of the people in the United States of America, some of the people are now, sitting in top tier positions in the United States of America, continuously criticizing the fucking president for trying to eliminate a threat, which is Iran. It's crazy. Fine, you don't like if you want to, no problem. But then to wish that America loses this battle, to wish that basically you're wishing that the military loses. So you're going against the people that protect your rights to fucking bitch all day.
Well,
That's my fucking problem here.
yeah,
Like, there
I
are
get
things
that.
that I don't like that are done like Trump has done. Like 5% of the things that Trump does, I don't like them. But you know what? He's the president of the United States of America. I don't have to agree with every single thing. But you know what? I'm an American, so America comes first for me. It's not other countries. It's America. I live in America. I like the freedom that we have here. And if we can go ahead and become the main energy source for the entire world, so be it. So fucking be it.
Well, there's going to be a fine line there, and that's understanding the American and Saudi relationship. Contentious at times, but generally, Saudi is going to side with the United States as not necessarily a policy, but in terms of keeping oil. Look, Saudi can pump oil. They have the most oil underground per capita out of any country in the world. Even though we have larger oil reserves, their light sweet is very easy to pump out. So where they go, the rest of the world goes, including the United States, in terms of setting the floor, because they have such low cost. They can drive out other. Saudi Arabia is the reason why the Shah got over not the reason. Let me walk that back. Hold on a moment. They are not the sole reason, but they are one of the main contributors to why the economy started to fall apart in Iran that led to the overthrow of the Shah. It's because in what was it, 73, they did not want to raise prices, and instead to start, because they have such low cost, started to pump more oil, brought the price of oil down. This was in partnership with the United States. That forced higher prices per capita and lowering gains for Iran that allowed for the opposition there to rise because the agenda was not being fulfilled and there was a ton of money being spent and not a lot of coming out of it. The debt started to invert and Iran got overthrown. All right, the Shah got overthrown. Now, there's many other factors in play, but Saudi Arabia played a big part in that, and the United States played a big part in that, and we do have a role there that goes far beyond that. Prior, when it comes to the Shah, I would argue that Britain plays one of the largest roles when it comes to the Shah. And but part of the collapse and lead up to this situation was Saudi objecting to increasing costs of oil, and then began to subvert by pumping more, lowering the costs, effectively pushing Iran's economy over the edge and leading to a revolution there. Now, one of the big things that I wanted to point out here is the United States likely would help set the floor with Saudi Arabia in that regard, unless Saudi Arabia wasn't in the picture because of supply, for damage to supply or something like that. And I don't think the United States would allow that to happen. I don't think any other nations would really like to see that happen either. But when it comes to a few different things, I wanted to roll back for a moment to Taiwan. Something very important to understand is not only are they the biggest chip fab in the world, but they're reliant on the United States. A lot of people don't know this and don't talk about it, but for chip fabrication, in order to get those increasingly pure silicon ingots that create the silicon wafers, you need to have quartz, and the purest quartz in the world comes out of the United States. Now, there's been China has found some high purity quartz, but nothing rivals the United States purity of quartz, specifically coming out of Spruce Mine. That's Spruce Pine, rather, the Spruce Pine Mine in North Carolina. So one of the things that I don't think that China could afford to make a move on Taiwan is because effectively it's worthless at the end of the day if you do so. Because if you destroy any of their manufacturing infrastructure in the midst of a war, you're screwed, right? You screw not only yourselves, but the whole world. But also, let's say that you keep it intact and you manage to take it over. You're not going to get the same yields. And then there is going to be other fabs built. It might take a while. Other fabs built to compete. We saw all of this when it came to mining rare earth elements, right? And you saw United States and Australia and Malaysia pull together to take a big chunk of that market off the board. And now you see the United States deal in terms of what's going on in Greenland. One of the largest deposits of rare earth elements in the world is going to be pretty much wholly owned by the United States, with United States funding in the background that's pushing it forward, no matter what happens with Greenland becoming a part of the United States or not. And there is, I really look at this, Rob and David, I look at this as the team that Trump has put into place, this administration, is absolutely killing it on the strategy side. And we are going to very soon start to see the wheels turning and the outcome of those strategies being employed have a not just a positive effect on the United States, the economy, the citizens, and us here at home in terms of security. But I think it's going to also benefit Russia and China, because I think that they have a real appetite to partner with the United States. And I think that they see the benefits of partnering with the United States, and the United States wants to partner with them. And I really do think that this is a check on the global cabal out of Davos and run by London and perpetuated here in the West by the carnies of the world. Crying carny taken big L's lately, and they can write as many pieces as they want and all their big think tank groups and journals to try and take the wind out of the sails, but it's nothing more than the kicking and screaming and crying of a failing of strategy and control on their part, and they're going to kick and scream all the way down before eventually capitulating to the superpowers of the world. That really is my take on things, and I back a lot of this up by looking at markets and the economies and knowledge of history and strategy on the military side of things, especially, and how those things tie together. And I see the picture that has been being painted based on what the administration indicated from the moment they came into office, and they are playing it out. And that doesn't mean that everything goes perfectly to plan, but they are playing it out. I think playing it quite well.
So quick.
Go ahead. You got 60 seconds.
Yeah, because that was like 5 minutes, but it was good.
Yeah, I
Landy.
know.
I'll say
Landy.
the guy goes on. He goes on till you can't pay attention anymore. It's like you can't remember the first point.
Part of my strategy.
Like,
look, I worked in psychological operations for a long time, Rob.
Yeah,
Just know what you're up
clearly, it's
against.
like how do you torture someone? Just keep talking to them until they're like numb. They can't get back.
You should have seen how much information I extracted from people in Guantanamo, man.
Well,
Rob, you got 60.
All right. I mean, I think part of this just comes down to a thing for me about human nature. I actually believe you're probably right that Trump and his team have realigned going. I never bought the thing with him like he likes dictators. He's aware of who has power. I mean, it makes sense that he wants to align China and Russia as allies rather than as adversaries. That would make sense from an economic point of view, a geopolitical point of view, a strategic point of view, especially if you're saying we actually have more power than each of them individually. So I accept that premise. There's two factors that come into play. We don't control what other actors do. I do worry that China, like Iran, has kind of the current regime, the mullah, the Islamic fundamentalist regime, that they don't really care about the timetable that we have. I worry that China operates historically with very long time frames, and that short-term loss isn't what now. They've changed a little. I mean, I was in China in 1985. They've changed, and they've opened, and they've adopted, and they've adapted. But I still think they look at things in very long cycles, and I'm worried that their decision-making may be much longer than ours. And the one factor you haven't accounted for, Landy, is in 6 months, the Republicans could lose control of both houses of the Senate. Trump could get impeached, and even if he doesn't, he's out of office in 2 years, period. And there's no guarantee that there's any stability to U.S. policy where Xi Jinping is going to stay in office, as is Putin, until they die. That's the only thing I would say about my
100% there with you. Well, one of the counterpoints that I like to bring up is that regardless of political positioning here in the United States,
David's talking in the dark because he doesn't like we're agreeing.
Yo, who let you talk, Landy? Like, this is crazy.
Sorry, I thought we were just gonna
let him agree with me, David. What, are you scared that he's saying I'm right about something?
You guys, I'm glad that you guys swiped right on each other. Now go on a date. Congratulations.
Look, we're on the date. This is the first date. Don't mess it up. All right.
No, it's because we're out of fucking time. Then I'm like,
no, we're
not.
not.
That's it.
Yeah, we're getting an extension. We're in overtime.
No, there's no overtime. It's Friday. It's sunny. I want to tan my balls, bro. Like, that's it. We're done.
Let me just give this final take to you.
You got 60 seconds.
I agree.
Shit, bro.
I agree with you on that point. I'm glad you brought up the election cycle because it's something that I'd like to talk to you and David about. David and I obviously have been talking about it throughout the week.
It's going to be 5 minutes. Get ready.
So not today, but in the
40
future.
seconds.
But Your point is very
Let's
salient.
stick to the
One
part
of
where
the
you
things that
agree
I
with
will
me, Andy. I like how
one
that
of the
sounded.
things that I will tell you though, and you know this just as well as I do, is the Biden administration was adversarial to China as well.
Yes.
But they
And
were,
Russia.
I think they were ratcheting tensions up versus bringing them down. I think that a non-Trump style admin would actually ratchet the tensions up between China and the United States. So I am with you with that.
I just want to let you guys both know this is a serious topic here. Robinhood, they have this credit card, and it's the gold credit card. I got selected, so I just wanted to let you guys know. Y'all might still be on this waiting list. I'm not. Shout out to Robinhood. 3% back on your purchases. I'm not really into credit cards, but I did want to get that one. All right. Anyway. Landy's been on here the entire time. We've been here 2 hours and 26 minutes and counting, and I probably spoke, I don't know, I'll give it 18 minutes versus Landy's 2 hours and somewhat seconds. So shout out to Landy. He thinks this is Spaces, and then we have Rob, who's just absolutely livid that the United States of America is winning in Iran. So there you go. Wednesday, obviously he made mention of it multiple times. Monday and Wednesday, Rob goes on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to go ahead and talk about trending news. You can catch him on his show on this network. You can also catch Landy here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. Today's Friday. So it's Fridays today. You can catch him 9 p.m. wrapping up the week in the markets on the market update. So appreciate you, gentlemen, for coming on. And I'm sorry, Rob, if you're still butthurt about me not showing up on Wednesday one time, I do apologize. I'm sorry. Hopefully you slept well.
You know what? Consistency is everything. You're going to make it this next Wednesday. You're going to have another excuse.
No, I've made it every single Wednesday except for one. So if you want to just be like a true liberal and just sit on it the entire time.
No, I'm just asking if you're going to make it next Wednesday. Simple question.
Well, as long as God allows me to, yes.
Wow. You know, you should take a page out of your boy Trump's book, because he's not good on people just being like, sorry, dropped the ball this time. He's like, yeah, well, you're no longer my.
Drop the ball. Here's Trump, my boy Trump, right? The guy, my boy Trump, is essentially saving the world from a terrorist regime having a nuclear weapon. Nobody says thank you. So it's like, we're not going to say thank you to that. As Americans, we should be happy that we don't have to rely on anybody to go ahead and get our energy, right? He's setting us up to not be reliant on anybody's ass.
There's one thing I was really disappointed, though, in David. They did not bring any honey from the White House honeybees over to Winnie the Pooh.
Disappointing.
I'm very disappointed in this.
China's a wreck. You don't want to keep it real before we get off of this. China's a wreck and they're a mess. Russia can't beat Ukraine. Okay, we're talking like Russia is. Look, obviously I got Eastern European DNA in me, 100%. I love the people over in Eastern Europe. I really do. They're really good people.
David's related to Putin, is what he's trying to say.
All I gotta say is at the end of the day, Russia ain't shit. Russia's newest tank was made in 1974. Okay, that's their newest tank. Okay, they got no army. Okay, they got a bunch of. They're using their citizens, poor citizens. They're dragging them out of the fucking houses. The same thing that the Ukrainians are doing. And they're sending them to war, and none of them know how to fight in general, okay? That's what you have going on now over there in Europe. China ain't shit because they got their workforce is retiring. They put a ban on making kids. The workforce is gone, man. In the next few years, they got no workforce, man. The whole world needs to figure out where they're getting their products made from, because they ain't gonna be China anymore. China can put on this whole display of, look how fast we can make this, that, and the third. Their workforce is going out of business. They're retiring. Let's talk about that. Why isn't nobody talking about half the people that are working right now are retiring in the next 2 to 3 years? They ain't shit. Their economy ain't shit. And they ain't got no friends except Russia, who's also broke. You're talking about two broke ass countries. What, you want to bring Brazil into the mix? They're broke as hell. You want to talk about Brinks like it's a fucking problem? What are we talking about here? And I'm glad that fucking Trump realigned the fucking chessboard. Now we're fucking close with the Saudis. Good. They got money. We talk about Elon being the richest guy in the world. That's on paper. You want to talk about rich? You want to talk about fuck you money? That's the Saudis. So yeah, I'm fucking with this new plan. I like this new plan. I like the new strategy. I like blockading people's asses until they can't take it no more, because we're destroying their economy. They got no economy. How about that? They're donezo. And if we don't finish them, Israel will. Whether you like it or not, whether you like Israel or not, Israel ain't playing. They're taking everybody out. Okay? They are literally going over to Iran, and they literally made it public. We're taking their asses
They're
out.
going to China next. Israel's heading to China. They're going to finish off Xi Jinping too.
I'm saying be happy that the United States of America saved the fucking world. And that is the truth. Okay, because if Iran gets a fucking weapon that can destroy the world, it's not a good thing. Okay? We're out here defending, oh my God, the Iranian regime, how dare we? Oh my, why do we go over there? You guys are idiots. And if you think for 1 second that this was all Israel's doing, you're also retarded, okay? And you need therapy. Trump has been talking about this before I was born, okay? He has been talking about Iran and and saying, why the fuck are we allowing them to run shit for the longest time? And you know what? Guess who put Iran in their position? The West. Blame the West for putting the fucking Iranian fucking terroristic regime into fucking play. It's the West that was at fault. So now we gotta undo it. And that's what we're doing. You guys think you know what Trump is? You know, the funniest thing to me is that all you motherfuckers think you know what Trump is doing and the administration is doing. You sit here and you talk and you run your mouths like you know what Trump is doing. You know shit. You don't know jack shit. These reporters writing these fucking pieces, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, they don't know shit. This is their personal opinions. These are your personal opinions. You know nothing. Okay? Tomorrow, he sends the B-52s over and destroys the motherfucking place. You have absolutely no idea what the fuck is happening.
You know, I would, first of all, thank you for that rant, David.
You're welcome.
So what I would say is, you know, I could make a simple observation. By that same logic, you don't know either. But that said, the only thing I'm going to disagree with you on is that you seem to see, say, someone like me who agrees in essence with the logic both you and Landy are putting out, but more importantly, agrees with the objective. And you see the divergence. You're almost like the Communist Party of China. Like you see divergence as like, or the mullahs, anybody who diverges must be therefore bad. I actually agree fundamentally with your entire premise. I'm sick of people not rooting for this country. I think both of you are right about the realignment of power. I think strategically what's happening, I've said, I'm actually on board the like Trump wrecking ball mission with most of our existing institutions, including the intelligence agency. I'm rooting for victory here. I've thrown some questions out there where I'm not going to just pretend that certain things might happen that we didn't see or might not go the way we wanted all the time. And you seem to think, therefore, you know, makes me a traitor and I must want Kamala Harris to be president. Which makes me wonder,
crybaby shit that the Democratic Party does.
If deep down, you're like those conservatives in the 80s who were like anti-gay.
It's crazy. Comparing me to China. Comparing me to, calling me, saying that I'm a part of the CCP and shit. This is crazy.
You're the secret Democrat here because you're like so.
I'm the secret Democrat. Your liberal tears are showing.
That I can't disagree with your conclusion. Well, I
You
share
can
the goal.
disagree.
Hold on. I want to
hold
be
on.
clear. There's three of us here. Hold on. There's three of us here. David, you and I have a hand, and Landy has a hand up a butt. I want us to go back in tomorrow and finish the job. There's no me wanting America to fail. I want to bomb the bridges, the power plants.
You want it done now. You want it done now, though.
I'll put boots on the ground to get rid of this
listen,
regime.
this is why we would lose on the Democrats. You guys want to do it now without no fucking strategy.
Can I?
Like,
Now suddenly
let's go do it now. Let's go ahead and take out the bridges and power plant. What if there? Hear me out here real quick. What if there's a plan? Have you ever thought maybe there might be a plan in place?
Can I interject real
maybe
quick?
the United States is
I don't know.
waiting it out. Hold on. You think Iran and China are waiting this out? Maybe it's America that's waiting this out. How about talking about that one? Maybe it's us that we're waiting this out.
Put your hands on that microphone and
make the wrong move so we can go bow.
Okay, so let me interject here for a second. Let me interject for a second.
Pull up your little pink pencil that you play yourself with. Okay.
I want to say that I'm actually I'm on David's side with I think we are the ones waiting this out because we have an advantageous strategic position, not just militarily but economically. Now, but what I want to say is what I really like about Rob and his position on this is that he wants to see Trump win. He wants to see him win this out. And
he's complaining the entire time.
No, wait. Hear me out.
I want Trump to win, but Trump's so bad.
No.
The whole fucking conversation is crying.
Look, his concerns are valid from the perspective of he wants Trump to win this out. He wants the midterms to be taken and held by this administration. He wants to see the plan be followed through. So when he's expressing his concern about these subjects, I actually really like it because it shows me that he actually wants the right things for Trump in this administration.
Oh my
he
God!
wants
How much
to
did he
see
pay
the
you?
success.
How much did he pay you? Oh my God!
He wants to see. He wants to see the success. Honestly, I've enjoyed these conversations the past couple of weeks because it gives me a view into Rob's thought process. And it shows me that he is actually diehard MAGA, and he is just concerned.
He's a diehard. He's
concerned.
Tim Walz and
he's concerned that the Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world are going to win out and sabotage the entire agenda. And he was concerned. He wants to see Trump win. He wants to see America win, and he's expressing his concerns.
Okay.
I actually, and like I'm throwing a few jokes in here and there, but genuinely, I do agree with that sentiment, and I agree with the concerns. I am here assuaging your concerns.
Okay,
America's winning, and we will keep winning.
Congratulations! What a hell of a
speech. Number one.
Right? History books should write this in. You know, the history books will write in your fucking speech today about you and Rob's little fucking. I gotta hold back my mouth. Sponsors.
Wait till you see our balloon popping show. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna be hosts.
I'm so
talk about
happy
how many Jewish men are going to stand up these other hosts that are looking for them to come on their show.
I'm so glad that you and Rob have found love with each other. I'm so happy. Guys, genuinely, like,
it's all right.
From the bottom of my heart,
you know,
obviously you guys are a part of the network, so I'm so happy that you guys have come together here, and you're on the same page. So, I want to thank you, gentlemen, though, for coming onto the show. Appreciate Rob, wearing men's apparel, and appreciate the puppet coming on here today, and giving his takes on all things. Rob, I'll see you on Wednesday. We'll have a good conversation on Wednesday.
We'll see it if you show up.
This is like, I would say something, but I know he's going to get offended, so I won't say nothing. I'll leave you alone today. I'll let you have a good weekend. And Landy, have a good one, sir.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. These motherfuckers, man. All of a sudden they came together. These two came together. Rob paid off Landy. I've never heard Landy bitch out like this in my life. Never heard it. I don't know why Rob thinks I'm like this. Like, he thinks that I say I'm a yes person to anything that Trump does. Like, I'm not this guy, man. I don't agree with a few, like I would say a few things that if Trump has done, I don't agree with them. I don't, and I've been vocal about that too. So I don't get that part. I just we're not in the briefing rooms. We're not behind the scenes where Trump and the administration are talking about what their plan is and how they're going to execute this plan against Iran. So like, you can sit here and play Monday morning quarterback all you want, but at the end of the day, there is a plan. Like there is, I'm pretty sure there is a fucking plan. My biggest beef is Americans praying for the military to lose. When you pray for America to lose, you're praying for the military to lose, and that's my biggest beef. I don't like it. I don't like seeing that. And if you have that mindset, I don't think you should be in America. I think you should be thrown out of America. Okay, go find the country to live in. God bless you, and you know, hope you have a wonderful fucking day. That's it. Bottom line. Bottom line. All right, we are overtime. Overtime. It is 2:50. It is beautiful outside. It is gorgeous outside. I don't want to tan my nutsack. So let's go to the quote of the day. Okay, quote of the day. Shout out to the sponsors. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Really do. Shout out to Midnight. Shout out to Poly Market, Cake Wallet. We know we got People's Reserve and Quiet Network on here. And also shout out to Cash App. All right, let's go with the quote of the. Let me find the quote. Quote of the day. That was fun, though. That was fun and entertaining. Politics, always fun and entertaining. Always fun and entertaining. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? I don't know if I should go with this one. That's too long. Okay, let's do this. The most dangerous man in any room is the one no one can put in a box. Sharp but warm, ruthless but fair, calm but never passive, intense but grounded. He doesn't fit anyone. He doesn't fit anyone else's template because he spent years building his own. Most men borrow their identity from whoever they grew up around and whoever they admire online. The rare ones sat down and built theirs from scratch. That's why they feel different the moment they walk in. There you go, for the men out there. Oh, look, how cute. Hey, how cute, Rob. I see you and Taylor on Instagram here. I like this version of you, Rob. You're chilling outside. I think it looks like you're chilling outside, and you guys are like having a really cool conversation. So shout out to you guys. That's cool. Anyway, it's Friday. I hope all you guys are winning. I really do hope all you guys are winning. I hope you're setting yourselves up in a really good position to win. Seek value, not drama. And be nice to people. That's really it. It's the weekend. Have fun. Tan your balls, okay? On that note, I'm out.